Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now October 20th of 2020, and ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, you name it, and exactly what the future of the Star Wars franchise is really going to look like in the next couple of years in comparison to what I like to call the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Star Wars as of right now is that it is indeed heading in a better direction. We do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are really doing everything in their power to really make Star Wars as rich as possible. A lot of this has to do with Disney Plus, such as with, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni working together as a team alongside George Lucas, and to also include many of the already established characters on Disney Plus, such as Anakin, Luke, Ben Solo, and others that are really going to make a major comeback in multiple new TV shows for Disney Plus, be it animated or live-action material. However, when we go ahead and take a look at what Kathleen Kennedy had done with the sequel trilogy overall, we do know that she is the main cause of a lot of the issues behind the scenes of what happened with The Last Jedi and also what happened with Episode 9. Now, Episode 9 was the biggest problem because of how they originally had multiple different versions of that film that ultimately led to a far different movie on the big screen, given that Kathleen Kennedy deleted so many scenes from the movie and refused to even include any of those scenes on the Blu-ray edition of the film. So keep an eye open for that, because we do know that Bob Chapek is indeed working very closely with George, John, and Dave on that new cut of Episode 9 that is going to be unveiled on Disney Plus in the near future. Now, with that being said, of course, now that The Rise of Skywalker is over, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been developing their new Star Wars universe for the fans around the world to witness in the next couple of years. However, it's noted that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are working closely with George Lucas in order to give fans a brand new take on the franchise so that they can enjoy everything moving forward. However, in a recent interview, actress Daisy Ridley was questioned about the sequel trilogy, where Kathleen Kennedy and more to do with Star Wars in general. At one point in time in the Daisy Ridley interviews, she was actually questioned about Kathleen Kennedy's leadership over at Lucasfilm, to where she was able to state that she has had too many problems on set with Kathleen Kennedy, given that she would constantly change scenes on and off without any form of notice that would destroy her workflow as an actress. Now let's stop right here for a second. This is the major problem with Kathleen Kennedy, is that she would always intervene with the overall scenes that were being done by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as George at the time. She is the main leading cause as to why Episode 9 as a film had so many issues, right? When you think about it like this, the movie overall really went through massive reshoots, both in 2018 and 2019. It's one of the main leading reasons as to why we did not get to see a trailer or a teaser in holiday of 2018, right around that time, right? So Daisy Ridley has every right to feel the way that she feels, because as an actress, you can only imagine what kind of work she went through, all the training, the rehearsals, reading the scripts, on and off. That does take a lot of work, both physically and mentally. And only for Kathleen Kennedy to swap out the scenes and put new ones in at last minute, no less, without any form of notice, it just goes to show how irresponsible Kathleen Kennedy really was on the set of Episode 9. So past this, of course, Ridley, went on to actually say and explain that she had often gotten very frustrated over Kathleen Kennedy's tactics with the reshoots, and that it even distracted her from acting properly in the latest Star Wars film. Daisy was able to confirm that the endings had changed more than 5 times because of Kathleen Kennedy, and that she thought the changes were absolutely ridiculous in terms of how it stressed the whole cast and crew of the film. Daisy went on to unveil that director J.J. Abrams would often try to convince Kathleen Kennedy to use some of the deleted scenes that she took from the film, given that Ridley had trained for so long on those segments. However, Kennedy refused. Now, when questioned about the film in general, Ridley unveils that it was both a fun and frustrating and nightmarish experience, and it was just as if she worked on 4 different movies throughout 2018 and 2019 because of Kathleen Kennedy interrupting with the reshoots and more. So that's a very, very interesting point by Ridley, is the fact that it felt like she worked on multiple different movies throughout the year of 2018 and 2019. Now, that's ultimately because this movie had so many different scenes, and the overall film meant different things at different points in time. You can only imagine what J.J. Abrams was trying to accomplish. He was here to really fix what Rian Johnson messed up with The Last Jedi, and was really trying to give the fans a proper experience, a more satisfying experience, if you will, for Star Wars in general. He wanted to give the fans, a brand new Star Wars film that would feel very unique and special and more in line with the vision by George Lucas, in which what we got by Kathleen Kennedy was the complete opposite. I mean, there's no doubt about it, right? So, I could not blame Daisy Ridley in any way, point in time, because let's face it, she really worked a lot. She really put a lot of her heart and soul into this movie for the scenes that we never got to see in Episode 9, and that was all because of Kathleen Kennedy at the end of the day. And I can see her point also on the fact as to why it was a nightmarish experience, because you can only imagine, what was going to happen with this movie. Was it going to be delayed? Was it going to be canceled? There was a lot of problems behind the scenes, obviously. So, further, it's explained that Daisy Ridley revealed that she could have done so much more with the character of Rey, and that she was ready to do incredible things with that character in the film. Daisy Ridley continued to say that she was very upset over the fact that so many of her scenes were deleted from the movie, including scenes of Dark Rey and more segments that had to do with herself and Ben Solo on the big screen. Daisy was questioned about Reylo, where she revealed that one of the cuts of the film actually dealt more with the interaction between Ben Solo and Rey in a romantic way, after he had turned to the light side of the Force, and that there was so much more Palpatine footage in the film that Kathleen Kennedy decided to lock it up and put it away in a drawer. Now, she implies that the film had so much potential if they were given full creative control, like J.J. Abrams and George Lucas's ability to tell the story that they wanted to tell on the big screen for the fans. Further, Daisy revealed that the film also originally was going to be way longer, and that Kennedy wanted to also cut that down, and which she did, since it would hurt the marketing of the movie, and that Ridley was always confused as to why Kathleen Kennedy made such a major mistake and or problem out of making the film longer. So this connects directly to what Chris Terrio talked about. Let's stop right here for a second quick, is that Chris Terrio actually talked about this, and this was about maybe 3 months ago, give or take, where Terrio actually went over the fact that they had discussed of splitting the movie into 2 parts, having a Rise of Skywalker Part 1 and a Part 2. Obviously, that wouldn't have worked in the long run, because look at what 2020 turned out to be, a complete disaster for the film industry, right? Pretty much, the film industry, if everything still goes as well, it's going to boom in 2021 and 22, because all these major releases that were delayed are now being put on hold until next year for the most part. So we can see, obviously, that now Hollywood is going to transform. They can no longer afford to make cheap films that are just going to be poorly developed, or films that are going to be more catered to woke culture. They really have to pretty much up their game and be more in line with fandoms and the fans and what they want to see. That's exactly what Hollywood is going to do from this point on forward. Now, when we go ahead and look at what Kathleen Kennedy had done to Star Wars and how Daisy Ridley feels about this, obviously, this is one of the main reasons as to why the cast does not want to return to Star Wars. We're talking about John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, and even Daisy Ridley. They don't want to return to Star Wars at all. In fact, that Rise of Skywalker sequel series that we've been talking about, Daisy Ridley actually has no interest in doing the voiceover work for the character of Rey in that animated sequel series for Disney+, that they are aiming to drop in either 23 or 24 on the streaming platform. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, I mean, it's really not a huge surprise that Daisy had such a nightmarish experience on set, because it was really the same exact experience for a lot of other actors on there as well. So yeah, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.